What's up everybody, the Creative Collector bringing you another powerhouse video today. So today we've got somebody here that needs no introduction whatsoever. We got Miss Scarlett Johansson, aka the Black Widow. I know you've seen her on The Avengers and most recently in her own movie in theaters now. Check it out. But I am telling you right now, this right here is a phenomenal likeness of Miss Johansson. And we're going to break it down today for you. And we're going to show you the paint up, the build up, and I'm also going to do a review for it. So stay tuned. Here we go. So I'm going to go through the build up, the paint up process, and talk about some of the techniques and things that I did to accomplish this right here. First and foremost, I want to tell you that the person responsible for this design goes by the name of Megha. He's online, he's on social media, he's on Instagram, he's on Facebook. He's mainly noted for his female characters that he designs. He has designed some flawless ones and very well noted for his likeness of his characters. I'm telling you, this guy does some phenomenal work, so you can look him up online and maybe get some designs of your own and print out, for yourself. So I printed Miss Johansson, aka the Black Widow, on my Anycubic Photon Mono X, and I use Elegoo standard gray resin. This is my go-to resin and my go-to machine. I'm going to put a link to the bottom of the page, that way if you would like to check out the Anycubic and look at the resin and stuff, those links will be on there for you where you can purchase your own. So actually I printed this a while back and I just now got around to painting it due to having other things, other projects ahead of it. And I should have done this one a lot earlier because I really like the likeness of the character. So I sliced it on the Chitu Box program on the Anycubic. I did not have any issues printing this out even at the quarter scale size. The base is sectioned into 4 sections. The file is actually set up that way for you. So you can print it at that level, or you can print it at a 1/6 scale or even smaller. He actually has the file as a 1 piece in there as well. So, but it's basically the legs, the torso, the arms, the head, and the base, and the hands holding the guns. They're really, oh, and a backpack on the back. I almost forgot about that. There's really not much pieces as far as this is concerned. I think there's a couple of little small hair strands up here, but again, that's not a lot of stuff to put together. The print came out super clean. The way he designed it, I mean, it pretty well fit together almost flawlessly with just minimal sanding, minimal cleanup, but everything turned out really, really well. So with the head sculpt, I just went in and my one video that I showed you how to mix up skin tones, it's just a base skin tone. I used that on there, and then I went in with the highlights or the undercuts and the undertones that I usually call them for the pink around the eyes, around the nose, and then also in the ears and lips. I did not do a wash on the face like I showed you before. I just went in straight with that color, and then I put a little bit more pink into the base tone. I wanted a little bit more of a pinker skin tone. It's the way Scarlett's skin tone is. I went in and put the hair color in, just a base color in first, just to see what it looked like. I wanted to do a test sculpt first, but the test sculpt actually turned out so well, I decided to keep it on the final figure. This also comes with a second head sculpt in the file with long hair. Now, I did not use that one because my plan is to do the white suit later on with the hair, the long hair that is. So that's why I did not use this one, but you can use those to switch out if you want. Then I went in and I put a darker brown red wash in it, let that dry, and then I also put a red wash on top of that as well, a mixture of red and brown, kind of give it that red hair type color. After that, I went in with a orange and reddish mix, and I just did dry brushing on it. It really made it pop. It really turned out real well. And then for the eyes, basically, I have trouble with eyes. I know a lot of people do, but I just went in and I took some reference material from looking at a Scarlett Johansson picture, and I painted the white on the eyes. Actually, let me correct that here. So don't use a solid white on the eyes. If you can, use like an ivory or an off-white. It just makes it that much better. Nobody's eyes are like solid white, so that's kind of a little hint on that one. If you guys want to know how to do a female portrait, ask your wife or ask your girlfriend, because it's just like putting on makeup. I swear, it's really cool. But I went in and did the black around the eyes, around the mascara and everything. And then I added the lips in. What I do with the lips is I actually go in with a just a base pinkish type color, and I go in with a little bit darker in the middle of the lips, and then I kind of branch out a little bit with some striations of a little reddish, kind of brownish, pink color or whatever that I kind of mix up. You kind of have to just play around with it, because nobody's lips is just a solid pink or a solid red. So I put the striations in it a little bit, and then I went back over it with a little bit more of a pink tone to it, to kind of phase that out a little bit, to kind of back that harsh red out a little bit. And then of course Scarlett has a little bit of a mole on there, so I airbrushed that in as well. Then also I went in and I added the eyebrows, and then I just kind of blended in the eyes. Scarlett does have green eyes, so Scarlett here has green eyes. And then I knew a little bit was missing on the eye areas, so I went back in with some pastels like I showed you guys. Went back with some blue pastels as far as above the eyes. But the head is actually a separate piece from the torso. And the wonderful thing about this design is there's a necklace up here on the neck that separates the head from the torso, so you get no seam lines whatsoever. Just make sure when you're configuring this in the beginning, you're dry fitting it, that you're actually kind of going over this just to make sure it fits properly. Do your necessary sanding where you may need to, but it fits right on there perfectly. So. And then I went straight onto the body. I just airbrushed the whole entire thing a black, and then I sealed it so that way I could handle a little bit better without worrying about smudging it or taking some of the paint off. And then I went in on the gray areas. I went in with a dark gray and NATO black mix to achieve that color. And I hate doing line work, and so this has a lot of line work on it, as you can see in the stitching, and I did that with a sky gray, and it takes some time, guys. I have to go back in afterwards and clean up my line work, so do not get frustrated with it by any means. And like I've told you before, if you're working on a piece and you just seem like it's a little frustrating, you just take a break from it. So I've had to do that several times on this piece, because the line work will just drive you crazy. But after that, I sealed it again, and then I went back in and I just kind of did some touch-ups on the base itself, on the base body, and then I added the hands holding the guns. Those are a couple separate pieces. I just glued those on after I had painted those, and then I put some weathering on the guns. You can do that if you want to, but you don't have to. It's just entirely up to you. And after I sealed it, I added the brass on the belt buckle, on the wrist gauntlets. Of course, I painted the necklace on the chest, on the neck. And then after that, it's just a matter of going to the base. And then I went on to the base, and it's a 4-section base. I glued everything together with epoxy, and then I went in and primered it. It's basically the sand primer repeat sort of thing until you achieve the results that you want. Filled up the cracks, primered again, got it sanded down until I was satisfied with the result. And then I went in with a chrome silver from Tamiya for a base, and then I sealed it with a flat base coat. And then after I went in with that, then I hit it with the airbrush on the shadows that you see and the undercuts and the undertones that you see within the base. I kind of wanted to give it a weathered feel to it. And then after that, I put a dark gray wash in the sections where you see the screens and the grates and stuff. And then I dry brushed it with some silver. And then I went in with a type of mud that Vallejo puts out, and I figured I haven't used this stuff in a while, and I kind of wanted a little bit more of a weathered effect, so I actually added some of that to the base as well. And then I went in and I wanted to achieve a little bit of a rust effect, and so I put in some rust effect on it, kind of dabbed a little bit here and there with a sponge to kind of get that effect as well. And it all turned out pretty well, as you can see. On the silver, I just went in and gave it that weathered effect, like some of the paint is chipped or some of the paint is missing. So I will tell you guys, I have seen a lot of pieces from XM, from Sideshow, and all these other companies, but this by far has to be the best likeness that I have ever seen in a Scarlett Johansson Black Widow piece. Megha did a great job in capturing the likeness, as he does with all of his characters. So I don't know if you're looking at this video, guy, but I'm telling you right now, hats off to you, man. You did a phenomenal job on this. Well, that's it, everybody, for this video. Until the next time, remember, if you like what you saw, clobber that like button. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do so right now. Like right now. What are you waiting for? Tell them, Scarlett, do it. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, everybody, so you do not miss out on future videos. I appreciate you stopping in and checking it out today. And until the next one, see ya!